You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Shahs of Sunset After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Shahs of Sunset After Show.
1 for the money, 2 for the show. Hit the Louis store right on Rodeo.
I think this was the right choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good surprise, Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. It was between this and the What You Know About Gold song. But we love We Run LA. What's up, everybody? Thanks for doing. We are here doing the final episode for the Shahs of Sunset.
Are we sure?
Yes. This is the reunion part 2. Shahs of Sunset will have another episode of the lost footage next week, but we will not be covering that because there's just nothing to say.
Are you serious?
There's nothing left to say.
I actually didn't know that.
I'm your host for the evening, Anna Koppel, here with me tonight.
Hi, everybody. I'm Yerman.
Hi, guys. I'm Michelle Renee.
So welcome. I would like to open this discussion the same way they opened this evening. They posed the same question that we had David Golshan on last season. We asked the same question. Why do you say Persian versus Iranian? Mm-hmm. I think it's a really fair question. Is it like somebody from Tennessee saying that they're from the Confederacy? Is it the same thing?
Well, my understanding, I don't remember exactly what David said at that time when we asked him to, but my understanding was always that Persian is the culture and Iranian is the nationality. But it seems like the people on Shahs don't have that kind of a separation and distinction. They kind of equate them to be the same thing, which is, it just doesn't sound accurate to me because Iran is just a country.
Right. Yeah, and they said it used to be the country, now it isn't, and it just sounds, their definition tonight just sounded like it was inaccurate.
Yeah.
But
I mean, because there's Persian people all around the Middle East, not necessarily just in Iran. Or I guess I could be totally wrong in saying that, but that's like saying there's only French people in France, or there's only, I mean, it's France and Iran are nations, and then like even Turks. There are plenty of Turks all over the Middle East and all over Europe, and even east of the Middle East and South and North Africa, but they're Turks. They just happen to also be, I don't know, Tunisian or Moroccan or Turkish. So
I'm confused.
I am too.
I'm definitely confused. Persian is in like the Persian Empire?
Yeah,
wasn't that from like way, way, way back?
Right. Well, I mean, back in that point in history, there was no Iran, right? There was Persia, which was an empire, the Persian Empire, and the Persian Empire was predominantly, or that is to say, the people that were in the ruling class of the Persian Empire were at that point Persians. So that became the moniker for that culture, that ethnicity, so to speak. And it's a slightly different, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong again, but I'm pretty sure Persian is also a little bit different than Arabic. Like an Arab is not necessarily a Persian, and a Persian is not necessarily an Arab. So it's one of those things where there's cultures, and then there's nationalities. Like Jewish, for example. You could be Jewish by culture, but all Jews are not Israeli. Correct?
Correct.
Right. But if you are from Israel, chances are you also could be Jewish by culture. And, there's little distinctions like that. It just happens that Iran, to my knowledge, is the modern concentration of most Persians within that area. But I don't really understand why we get to call everybody Iranian that's Persian, or everyone that's Persian Iranian. That doesn't make sense to me.
The implication is that they're trying to, I guess, throw shade on like saying they're Iranian. They think it maybe sounds more regal or better to say Persian. Isn't that the implication? That they think that there's like status in being Persian?
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely could be the implication. Is it really cool to say you're from Iran right now? I mean, there's that area is very troubled. It's a huge hot topic in like global economics and global politics. So, yeah, maybe there is some sort of an effort to kind of distance yourself off from being categorically classified as Iranian and being instead Persian, which is, you know,
It rolls off the tongue.
Beyond.
So pretty.
As they said, yeah.
Yes.
Rolls off the tongue. All right. Well.
That help at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
It did. Glad. Good talk, guys. Good talk. I don't know about you, but for me, this half of the reunion was difficult to watch. I was really kind of uncomfortable, disgusted at times, and that's how I felt.
That's good.
Agree? Disagree?
No, I
Agree.
Gut wrenching for me.
Gut wrenching.
Gut wrenching.
Yeah.
It was wildly uncomfortable. I don't really. I mean, I was saying this earlier. Like, I get that we're fans of the show, but the reunion, I don't really understand exactly what the point of reunion episodes are, except for the fact if this is the point of it, to bring them all together so they could yell at each other uncomfortably for long, dragged out minutes. Then is that entertainment? Is that what we're being entertained by now?
Well, usually with reunion shows, I feel like they do the little like vignettes or like montages or whatever of like funny moments, and like there's a few of those little clip segments that like make you laugh, and then there's some that maybe are more serious. But this episode, it seemed like they were all very serious and all like not. I think I laughed maybe like 2 times, and that was just off stupid stuff that people said, not necessarily
That it was funny content.
that it was fun. Yeah, it was just like dumb comments people made.
At
I was
one
laughing
point-
at them, not with them.
At one point, didn't Reza, when Reza broke out into Farsi, and all of a sudden, I could just picture Andy just sitting there like, you guys know that
gonna
some of our
translate this."
audience can't speak Farsi, right? But they were doing it on purpose. They literally just decided on national television to have a private conversation, which, just so you know, I just realized how ridiculous that statement I just made sounds. But yes, it's almost like he's like, hold on a second, let's have a private conversation. Cameras, you can keep rolling. And then just go break out into your own little language. And they literally had an intervention, confrontations. I don't know what that was all about.
But they didn't, because we were privy to that information.
Well, but I'm saying, like, why would you? How is that not uncomfortable when all of a sudden you're the host, you're Andy Cohen, and people are speaking another language on your show, and you're like, okay, all right, let's get it back to English, folks.
It is. I have a lot to say about Andy Cohen. We'll get into that.
Oh, geez.
I feel like
a bit.
Andy feels like he does when we see someone walk off and shut a door. Andy's probably so used to people thinking they can escape the camera that he's just like, no, go ahead. Let him go. Let him go. We got the mics rolling. No, let him talk. We have a translator. So I don't think Andy minded.
Is he just literally sitting there just going, oh, boy, this is going to be juicy later?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to reserve my Andy opinions for
Okay.
now.
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
But don't be sorry.
Yeah, it was gut wrenching. I did not enjoy this episode.
I didn't either, and I don't. So
I was like, yeah. What are you trying to find something? I mean,
Yeah, no, so
I'm
weird.
sorry,
So-
folks out there.
So they talked about everybody's careers, or, air quote careers, and Asa and her diamond water. Asa financially supporting her parents. I had a little bit of confusion about that.
Didn't everybody?
Didn't everybody? First of all, she says she supports her parents. I don't understand why her mom is working so hard then and making $30,000 a year. And did she ever say? She never said what she does day to day. What is her job? Why is she having trouble paying her mortgage? Why? I just feel like there are a lot of questions. She says she works so hard for her money and she supports her
The
parents.
mother. You're talking about the mother.
No, Asa was saying
Asa was-
that
yeah.
she works so hard and she supports her parents and
Oh, yes.
she's made so many sacrifices. But this whole season was about how is she going to pay her mortgage and where is she going to get this money and what's her job? What does she do?
She didn't say.
Right.
And she didn't say after being blatantly asked. Andy actually asked, or that is to say, he basically posed a question that was given, submitted into the show. They said, you know, if your pop's career doesn't take off, what's your fallback plan? Which is their people's way of asking, okay, so what is it that you do?
Right. Yeah.
So and her answer to that was that she has 2 degrees from UCLA and that she has no inclination of not having her pop career take off, and she's working really hard, and she works hard every day, and she pays her bills. And we're like, okay, but we're asking how.
What are her degrees in?
Psychology?
I actually don't think that she said. Do you know?
I think one of them is psychology.
And the other one might be philosophy, since
Okay.
she brought
Yeah.
that up last week. Okay.
Those are
Okay.
some money maker degrees, just so you all know.
Yeah.
Out there. If you all know anything about degrees, psychology and philosophy basically means you can do whatever you want because it's not really.
Psychology, by the way, might as well get a degree in liberal arts. Just saying.
I mean, no disrespect. I have degrees in liberal arts. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, saying I have a degree in philosophy. You could basically be Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse had a degree in philosophy. He was a bouncer.
Could be undeclared.
Martin,
Could
you know
be-
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
So
Not
we
that
still
there's
don't
anything
know.
wrong with it. Just
So we still don't know.
We
It's
still
not
don't
documented.
know. I
We still don't know
feel
what she
like she hustles. She has like the word hustle was thrown around a lot. So I feel like she has a few different, you know, side jobs that she does that kind of contributes to her income. But I don't think she can even say what she does because from one week to the next it may change. But she's always hustling.
I've got some news and gossip on this later. I'm very excited to
Okay.
share with
All
you.
right.
Quick question. So there was also talk of her renting out. Is she still renting out one of or part of her property?
I believe so.
Okay, so that still may be like a secondary income, or is that what her idea of really working hard is making sure the rent check comes in?
Yeah,
from
answering
tenant?
her mail is.
But I also, at the end of the show, towards the end, maybe I'm jumping ahead a little bit, Andy asked her if she was living with Jermaine. He kind of threw it in with a bunch of other questions, but he was like, are you guys still together? Are you living together? Like, what's going on? Not Jermaine, that's his dad's name, but
Right.
Jermaine's son,
Right.
Jermaine Jr., JJ, whatever. And she was like, yeah, of course we are. So does that mean she's living with him or what? Because if so, then she could potentially be renting out the house as well as the back house. And so maybe that's a source of income.
I took her answer to just. As I understood, her response was just that they're still together.
But not.
I don't know if they're living together or not, but I don't know. Maybe they could be. That's an excellent point.
Besides which, isn't she like, if she's working so hard and hustling, then she also said that she cooks like 5-course meals for her man 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Who's got time to do this exactly? Or is that like
The
maybe Jackson Jr. is paying her to I don't know. That's bad. That's really bad of me to say.
JJJ.
Yeah.
JJJ. Trip J. Maybe Trip J is like, baby girl, you cook up a storm. I want you to just cook. And
I'm
that's-
just going to give you
I'm just gonna
money.
give you money.
stipend.
Yeah, like a stipend,
Yeah.
a cooking stipend. I'm gonna pay you $800 an hour for cooking food. You're like, I only need $100 of it for a month's worth of groceries. Well, then you keep the rest, baby doll.
I would love that setup.
That would
honestly.
be awesome.
Yeah.
So how's she making all this work time-wise? Something's not adding up.
Right. Yeah, and she doesn't answer questions directly, so it's difficult to.
And you know what's awesome is that the person that called her out on this is Gigi. They couldn't have gotten one of the other people to call her out on it, like one of the other people that actually have like a day job.
Right.
So of course that turned into a who are you? What are you talking to me about? Why are you throwing dirt at me? You've never had a job. And you're 30 years old, and then that totally evaded the conversation. We never got to the bottom of it. Darn it!
And so was Gigi wearing her actual extensions? That was something else that was posed.
Was she? I can't tell.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't even think she was wearing extensions. It didn't look like
Just
she had
looked like her
extra
regular
long-
hair.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's good for her extension line then if it looks natural.
Yeah.
But like, why wouldn't you? If you have an extension line where you can just grab a piece from the stock, like, and put it in your hair, why wouldn't you wear them? But Asta seemed to be trying to imply that she doesn't even wear her own extensions, which I thought was very hypocritical, since Asa was like, Asa and Lily both were like, Gigi can't even be happy for her friends when they were talking about Diamond Water.
Yeah,
but
good
you're
call.
not happy for her and
Right.
Gigi's extensions. So
Plus, also was drinking smart water. So
exactly.
boom.
Did you all understand what they were talking about? The mechanics of how the diamond water works? It's like,
Yes.
diamond is in a. Did they say it's in like a container of water, and every molecule, every droplet of water that's bottled runs through that? What is that?
It's encased in a tube.
Uh-huh.
And so all the water flows through this tube where the diamond is encased.
Okay.
Will that erode the diamond over a while?
I'm pretty sure. I don't think.
I don't know.
I don't know if it'll erode the diamond.
No?
The diamond is pretty hard substance.
I don't know. Okay, maybe that was stupid.
I don't know.
No, there's not. I'm just saying. I don't think it'll erode.
God, way to make me
Maybe
feel
over
dumb,
time.
Yerman.
Maybe over time.
Maybe if this business stays successful.
Yeah. Maybe she'll be pumping out so much water, and they'll just have to get a bigger tube, and with that kind of volume pressure, eventually it'll just crumble.
I'm really excited for this news and gossip, you guys. Can't wait. Just can't wait for it. So careers. So what else? So Reza tried to claim that MJ only made one sale
On a condo.
on a condo
and apparently Reza sold $7 million in December,
in December.
according to Mike.
Is December a big real estate month?
I didn't.
Houses for Christmas?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Or
know.
maybe
Hanukkah,
or
I guess?
maybe it's 7 million in December being one of the slower months. Like he sold 7 million when no one's buying. Maybe.
Maybe.
Like Gigi's bikinis. I mean, not Gigi, Lord. Lily's bikinis.
Lily's bikinis.
Right.
In January,
That's
slowest
right.
month.
She brought in all those,
Yeah.
receipts.
I mean, one condo in the whole year. Like, obviously, that's a lie.
Right. She wouldn't be surviving.
Yeah.
With all her fake lashes.
Well, how do we know? We don't know how the heck Asa's surviving, but she's doing just fine.
That's fair.
Like at this point, I have no idea what to believe anymore. That's how ridiculous this is. Like none of the numbers make sense or add up to me.
I have a question. Do you guys think that people would buy a house or condo from them just because they're like the Shahs of Sunset? Because I feel like they would. I feel like there's some people out there.
Absolutely.
Maybe that would,
I mean,
yeah.
if your real estate agent was somebody who was notable and they happen to be a real estate agent, then you'd be like, okay, well, I mean, that's pretty cool. Then you could say, yes,
Yeah.
MJ was my real estate agent.
So
But
at least that alone is going to like bring in business without her even trying.
Yeah.
So just one condo?
That's true. That's very true. I feel like, all of the chefs on from Top Chef, also on Bravo, say that, Top Chef puts butts in seats. It doesn't matter whether or not you won the competition, but just
Yeah.
being on the show brings them so much more business. So that makes sense. That they would.
But they seem to, MJ and Reza, having had a partnership prior to the show, seem to imply that they had already had a successful run at things. Obviously, they're
Right.
doing well for themselves. They have an office, in one of the nicer office buildings. I think is it the Larry Fluent building or somewhere near there? I forget exactly. I remember seeing, they showed the building, but it's in a nice part of town. It's a nice, high-rise office. They obviously do okay for themselves, or they're in an office that they're either leasing out from another real estate company or they're part of a real estate company. I forget the name
part of
of it.
Keller Williams.
Keller Williams, okay. So, they're obviously not doing too shabby.
Right.
Or is it all the money that they brought into do they just dress like that and they just have that lifestyle without having had the real estate business? Like I said, nothing makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I am lost, I tell you.
Well, the idea is that they're off from a little bit of money.
Yeah.
So I guess they would have come into the situation already with some backing financially
Yeah.
from their families.
They met where? At Beverly Hills High?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So definitely from, the inner city school. That's we're just reacting to our producer Martin just in the back, just giving like a cynical laugh, like
I think Martin's lonely. He's like too amused with this tonight.
It's
Like-
awesome. Yeah, and so Reza 7 million. MJ apparently sold one condo.
Mike is still working with Reza, I guess.
I would think so. Why would Mike know what numbers Reza's putting up for the year?
Right. And Lily.
And Lily's got
Somewhere. I have a question.
Yes.
Jessica. This is going back to her. Mike mentioned that she bought him the Christian Louboutins, his first pair that he was wearing. And isn't she a nurse and a nursing student? So that's what amazed me. I was like, what kind of nurse is she? Like, where she can just freely buy her boyfriend Christian Louboutins? Because that's what I want to do.
Well, listen.
Because I want to be there.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I think that Mike takes care of her in every other way financially. I mean, he's paying for her clothes, and he's said in an interview that Persian men take care of their women.
Mm-hmm.
So if all of her income now is just like extra, she can probably afford to pay for a pair of shoes.
Interesting. That was just my
I
side
mean,
note.
I don't know that to be true, but that's just speculation.
Persian men take care of their women. Okay.
So
Thanks.
she bought him his first pair with his money. It's like when you buy your parents a
Right.
Christmas
It's
gift,
like
and
when
it's like,
when
there you
when
go.
Gigi and her sister bought their dad a car, and the dad's like, "How much did this cost me? I wonder. What is the price tag of this wonderful gift from my daughters? What did it cost me?" And you're like, "That's awesome, Daddy. It was the low price of your $30,000."
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Ugh. That's funny.
That was hilarious. Him and their dad in his ponytail. He's still rocking it.
I love him. Yeah.
So yeah, any careers we missed?
I don't think so. I think we should move on.
Nice.
Let's move on.
Do it.
Lots about relationships with each other, with outside people. Bless you. We talked
thank
about
you.
Jessica. We talked before that the engagement between Gigi and Omid might be fake. They talked about that as well. Where do we stand today?
I disagree with Andy when he said that it seemed like they weren't that into each other on the show. I wrote that down because I remember a few episodes ago we actually talked about between like Jessica and Mike and Omid and Gigi. Omid and Gigi seemed a lot more into each other and to be having a lot more fun. So when Andy said on the show he didn't seem that into you, I was kind of like, well, what show were you watching? Or maybe he had seen some behind the scenes footage that was edited out that the audience
Some
didn't
knife
see.
fights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
you know,
off-screen knife fights we didn't see.
That to me, I don't know.
Yeah, because he seems super into her. I do think that the engagement was fake, though. But I agree that I disagree with Andy.
Yeah.
What was the advantage of faking an engagement?
Publicity.
Publicity, I guess. Did it work?
Did it increase publicity? Was it a positive publicity? Was it a positive publicity stunt? She's on a show.
Right.
I mean, who's? I guess what I'm asking is, who is it benefiting? The publicity? Is it benefiting Omid? Is it something about they were like, well, let's give Omid a piece of the pie, or
Yeah.
did it reflect? Really?
Yeah. Because
Wow.
now I want to sleep with Omid. You know,
then it
or, you know,
worked.
I'm not me necessarily, but now, you know, that's what.
No, you meant you.
Yeah, I did.
Well, and maybe he's going to be a main character. There's a better word for that.
Featured,
Featured.
A regular,
reoccurring.
Primary
recurring,
on the show.
primary. Like, we're giving you like gold mines, and you're like primary. And like someone
I
who is
repeated your
multiple
words
episodes.
as well.
someone who appears more often than not. And we just told you. Please continue. I'm so sorry to
Anyway,
have spoken. Yes.
I repeated your words as well, just to be clear. But
Okay.
anyway, so he might be on the show next season. That's all
Okay.
I'm trying to say. Maybe that was part of it.
I like how also, sorry to cut you
No,
off, but it was a fake engagement only because there was a fake ring. So they thought it wasn't like, oh, the engagement was fake because he doesn't like you. It was like, oh, well, no, we saw the ring and it wasn't up to par. So is your water okay?
Anna is having water
Anna's
difficulties.
Sniffing her water over here. Yeah.
It's not. It's because it's not diamond water. So
Water
she's having.
smells like a wet dog.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want water that's better than something that smells like a wet dog, diamond water.
I'm so thirsty though. I have to drink it. I don't know what to do. Okay.
She's so thirsty. She's like, wet dog. I'll take it.
I don't know what else to do. Anyway,
Yes.
this is happening.
the
folks.
the ring wasn't up to snuff.
The ring didn't mean a thing, as Kim Zolciak would say. No, apparently the ring was fake, and Mike could tell a fake ring from 10 miles away, and the ring was not up to par, so that's how they knew the engagement was fake.
And you
Now,
shouldn't
when we
make
say-
light of
what-
such things.
Like, yeah.
When we say up to par, what do we mean? And by we, I mean you all.
You need to feel it in your crown chakra all the way.
Good answer. It just didn't have enough carrots on it. Like it wasn't
was-
like rockish.
So
enough?
I don't know. I guess they were saying like CZ maybe, glass. I don't know. Small. No, just fake.
Yeah, maybe
Just
the
fake.
clarity wasn't there. I don't
Yeah.
know. But they were saying that it was fake.
It
Yeah.
did not look good. Gotcha. All right. Interesting.
So that was that.
So fake engagement. Good
Fake
times.
engagement, check. Mike and Jessica. Everybody seems to like Jessica.
Well, who wouldn't like a girl that's going to get you Louboutins?
I don't know. Me. I don't. I don't dislike her. I just think she's kind of boring. I guess.
From the two snippets that we've seen of her, you've already decided she's categorically boring.
I don't know. I haven't gotten to know her yet. I said I don't dislike her, but she did wear leather to Shabbat. You know,
She didn't Google what she was supposed to do at Shabbat beforehand.
I love if you just give Anna some time to come to her own admissions in her own time, it's worth the wait for the juice. I'll tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you just give her some time, let her just work through her own. I shouldn't say it. She was wearing leather to Shabbat. That's the gold right there. Nice.
that was the first time meeting the parents and everything. You're gonna wear like a tight leather thing to Shabbat. It's
I'm not arguing. I just think that's hilarious. You're like, no, leather, no.
Back me up here. Disagree. Something.
I mean, she has appeared very boring on the show. Like the few times we've seen her.
Yeah.
She just nods and smiles and agrees with whatever Mike says.
The most.
That's what we've seen though, and we haven't seen much of her. So, I mean, I'm assuming she has a better personality and that she's more fun because everyone does seem to genuinely have nice things to say about her, whereas other people's significant others haven't been so lucky.
Right. Plus, I'm sure everyone reacts to being on a reality show differently. I mean, just because these guys just all agreed to be on a reality show doesn't mean that their significant others or people that they date are always like, oh, great, a camera's going to be rolling on this? Oh, super excited. So maybe she's somewhat nervous or reserved because she knows that camera's on her and she just doesn't really know how she's supposed to. Some people aren't very good or have any experience being relaxed on camera. Maybe.
Maybe. That's fair.
I mean, she sounded like she already had enough reservations meeting the parents, and then she's got to meet the parents on camera. That's got to be that's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To which she replied with, all right then, leather it is. She's looking at her closet. She's like, let's see. Never met the parents. I'm on camera. What to do. Understated black? Nope. Leather. I like it. Let's do it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. iTunes. Tell a friend, 5 stars, your last opportunity.
I love that you're
your last
tell a
opportunity.
friend 5 stars.
Tell a friend to rate us 5 stars,
Right.
and just let us know what you think. It's the last opportunity of the season, so
Exactly.
show us a little love. We love you.
We love you back.
So I think the real meat of this reunion would be just the awful way everybody treated MJ.
Yeah.
Just their emotional
The Reza MJ debacle.
punching bag. I don't think it was just Reza. I mean, obviously it was Reza, of course, but I think everybody just really treated MJ like their emotional garbage can or punching bag.
Except for Gigi.
Except for Gigi, that's fair. Mike tried a little, but then he ended up siding with Reza. It was horrible. It was horrible. But don't let me influence your opinion. What did you think?
I really enjoyed the point where Mike decided to get up in the middle of a heated discussion and partake in the goodies that were at the table, and even they had a shot of Andy Cohen. Just like, what the hell are you doing right now? I enjoyed that a lot. They were like, hey, let's gang up on... No, I'm going to get something. I'm going to get some kubide.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually. One of our listeners said something on iTunes that we thought it was cray that there were cucumbers on the table, but that it wouldn't be cray if there were hot dogs. I don't think we thought it was crazy that there were cucumbers on the table. I would think it was equally crazy if there were just a pile of hot dogs,
burgers
without buns or something. There was just a big pile of hot dogs. My comment was that amongst finger foods, an entire cucumber is difficult to eat. That's all.
Again, Martin in the back not wanting to touch this comment with a 10-foot pole. He's like, I have no idea. Do we need to edit that? Is that a censor edit right there? What is that?
We'll fix it in post.
So you're saying a whole cucumber, not a finger food. Wait, I shouldn't have said that either.
Well, this commenter, our listener, and by the way, thank you for commenting and listening, said that this was a typical Persian spread, including the cucumbers.
Yeah.
And my only comment last week was that seems difficult to eat. The whole spread was finger foods, and that just seemed out of place to me, because it's not a finger food when it's all not sliced.
Okay.
And there were multiple piles.
Yeah.
There's 6 people sitting there, and there was like each had their own individual pile of cucumbers.
Yeah. They probably won't go through
There
them.
were multiple piles.
That's all. That was my only thought. But anyway, yeah, and it was very rude of them to keep doing that, to keep grabbing food over MJ trying to respond to. MJ was responding to
so much. Where do
to
you
so
don't
much.
start?
I was going to start at that moment. I think she was responding to her not working as hard as a real estate agent, but I also wanted to say, you know, we actually brought up here weeks and weeks and weeks ago that MJ had been convicted of bank fraud, and that was brought up again. So
Not indelicately.
well,
Yeah.
Reza said that it was bank robbery,
Yeah.
which it was not.
Right.
Different things.
It's okay. He was heated.
It's not okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently it's okay. He just want to tell people
He
they're
said she can't vote
Yeah.
or leave the country or something. Go to Canada.
Right. Well, yeah, that's not accurate because they were in Mexico. So
It was just it was really uncomfortable to watch them all as if in an coordinated effort. Just kind of I mean that yeah, I think any person, if they're a human being, is going to do what MJ ultimately did, which was to literally look like they were about to crack. The poor girl had literally really welled up eyes. Her makeup was running at that point because it was all she could do to maintain some composure, to sit there for the show to run out its course, and then so she could be like, oh my God, I have to go home.
right.
One thing I noticed, if I can just interject, is that they played back a little clip, and Reza, if you remember, like earlier on in the season, the first reason why he was like mad at MJ was supposedly because she sided with Gigi, and so that's what kind of, I guess, got him mad at her. But then later in the season, it switched to like him being mad at her because she was a pill popper. So for me, that kind of indicated that and the fact that he couldn't even give a straight answer when Andy asked him like, "What's your beef with her?" So I mean, that to me indicated that it's BS. Like, you're saying now that it's because she pops pills, but earlier it was because she's friends with Gigi. What is it?
I wrote down this response because it really, I totally agree. I noticed that too. And Andy asked the question in a really interesting way too. He asked, why has his perception of MJ's alleged addiction and alcohol abuse problem didn't come up more during the production of the show?
Very well phrased, actually.
Yeah, agreed. And he answered, because she has been lying so much and drinking and taking so many pills that she actually now lives in an altered universe, and I cannot live in Alice in Wonderland and support my best friend who's spiraling out of control. That doesn't make sense. That's not answering the question. Nope. And we've said on this show many times, if you're best friends with somebody for 20 plus years, you don't, on a reality show, one day, 20 years later, saying that she's been a pill popper for 20 years, say, you're a pill popper. And P.S., your best friend is actually an addict. You don't, like, attack them and say, like, you're an addict, you're fat, you're an alcoholic. That's not how you approach somebody.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. That's the one thing I didn't find to be plausible at all. All this inconsistency just makes me feel like I'm watching something that's either completely fake or that's literally out of control crazy, because I have friends who have problems, I have friends who don't have problems, and I definitely treat my friends who do or don't have problems differently than these people. Like, if you want to sit there and call each other family and say that you have history, decades in some cases, I don't understand how this behavior works at all. Definitely wouldn't have, like you said, you couldn't have said any better. How do you attack your friend of 20 plus years on national television? Just outright blatantly, like, you wouldn't want to do it with some sort of sensitivity. And then how dare you flip-flop that quickly? Change your mind, stop being honest, and start doing all kinds of saying BS and changing your opinion and not answering questions. None of that makes sense. It was completely, it was so overwhelmingly over the top that it was uncomfortable, because at that point I wasn't buying anything that I was watching. I had no idea what I mean, at that point, he made it sound like he's living in just as altered, he being Reza, is living in just as much his own altered reality as he's accusing MJ of living in her own. At that point, it seems like everyone has their own altered reality. Nobody's meshes. How does this work?
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And then Asa also said that MJ was very protected by production, which would imply that they didn't, that they caught her, but they didn't show it or whatever. Right. And Andy, I was proud of him, spoke up and said, actually, I don't think MJ came off that great this season. You know, I watched the show. But I thought, again, that's just totally throwing her under the bus. And to blame production, to blame editing for anything, I think is such an excuse.
It's a cop-out.
And so silly. And yeah, everybody watches enough reality TV at this point to know that that's a cop-out.
Production, in a sense, in defense of production, don't they technically go, maybe they sensationalize some aspects of these shows, but they do go, they are based somewhat in clues or impetus that's given to them by the players, correct? It's not like they just fabricate stuff for the sake of fabrication. They're like, oh, there's some dirt here or there's some juice here. Let's kind of see if we can steer things towards it. But it's not like they just fabricate addictions or something out of nowhere if they don't happen, or make it seem like they are there when they aren't.
If they had found her popping pills somewhere, I think they definitely would have tried to sensationalize it, like you said.
Really?
The closest thing we saw to that was like them whipping out the like bottle of pills in the hotel room in Mexico. Yeah, and that was like the closest thing we saw to that. Don't you think they would have shown that on camera, like the big shocker of the season? Ooh,
right.
You know?
And I also, yeah, that's a good point. Because when they started speaking in Farsi, and he was like, do you want me to tell you what she was into in Vegas? That was last season. If the time MJ was on pills was in Vegas, you know, yes, she's 40, but a lot of people, I think, take pills in Vegas, you know, when they go out of town and are in Vegas, you know. That, to me, also does not equal such a pill popper. So if these are your two examples, like both times when you're on vacation, it just,
And his excuse is that they're on a reality show. And it's like, you can have a sincere conversation with your friend and tell them they have a problem if they really do, and it can still be filmed just as easily as you like calling them out and being just a vile, like nasty person.
And isn't that something that made reality television that much more palpable to the public? Like when it first started, I remember watching, you know, even when we were really young, we were watching MTV's Real World, and they would have heart-to-hearts, and you'd be like emotionally affected by these people having really genuine, wonderful talks sometimes. Sometimes they'd yell at each other, but you praised these shows and you liked reality television that much more for those honest kind of conversations as well. So I totally agree with you. You can have those conversations.
Right.
You don't have to choose to just attack Pitbull style.
Well, and that's what we liked so much about Shahs of Sunset last season.
Right.
I think was that they had these real relationships, that they've been friends for so many years, and there was a real connection there. And they did touch on that at the end of this reunion. But that doesn't seem to be there anymore between them.
It doesn't.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think of that way. But yeah, it seems like they've strayed away from the family aspect and the we share everything and we just known each other aspect of what made that show special in the first season. And this year it all became like who's on whose team, who's stabbing who in the back, who's got a problem, who doesn't.
Right.
Where's the family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it? I don't know.
They couldn't sit down and all in one space for 5 seconds without somebody pulling out a knife or whipping or blowing up at somebody.
And the fact that they were, I mean, I couldn't believe that Reza was attacking MJ's mom the way that he did. And even though Vida, we have all agreed she's not the best mother.
Yeah, but
you don't call her a bitch and a hoe. That's completely, it's disgusting.
You sure as heck don't do it as a Persian, where family, like so many older cultures, have a huge reverence for elders and family members. You don't just call out people's family members to their face, especially when they're mothers and fathers, out of respect. You may think that, that's fine. And they may be those things, that's fine too. But you don't do it out in public, and you sure as heck don't do it on national television.
Yeah.
And you don't do it after people have written in saying that they're offended by your use of hoe and bitch towards females. And then you call someone not only a hoe and a bitch, but someone's mother that you've known for 25 years.
Yeah.
It's just so disrespectful.
Yeah.
Not cool.
And I think in this whole reunion, he was trying to like make MJ look bad, make her mom look bad. And I hope he looks at this back and realizes that he only made himself look bad. It's just
Agreed.
disgusting.
Agreed.
What a loser.
What a loser.
What a loser.
We don't like him. Yeah, and I mean, MJ even offered to take a drug test, and I just, Anyway.
Yeah.
Anything else on them?
Besides, well, that's that one relationship. What else is there?
Lily,
there
I
more?
wrote this that Lily she kept chiming in, and that really pissed me off because
But you liked Lily so much from start to finish on this season, Michelle. Why ever would you say that?
No, I didn't. But
Just to be clear.
Yeah, just to be clear.
No.
Michelle, throw it down. Go.
okay, we've mentioned that the Shahs of Sunset are really friends. They went to the same high school. They've known each other for years, whatever. But Lily hasn't. Not to say that she can't be on the show, not to say that she can't, have fun with them. But she was chiming in on Reza and MJ's relationship, and that really angered me because of all the people. First off, it's no one else's business, really. But of all the people sitting on that platform, you need to shut your mouth, honey, because you've been here for what? Like 6 months, maybe? Yeah. So why are you talking? Zip your lip.
Yeah, agreed.
Sit there and look pretty.
Agreed. Yeah, true.
No, for sure.
So yeah, I did write that, but okay, moving on.
And Reza and Asa just really seemed to team up as mean girls and continue. I couldn't believe, when Reza was doing like his fake snoring and.
Why would you do that?
so
You're wearing like Versace suits.
Yeah.
You're wearing Versace suits. You guys have glam all over you. You've got ridiculous spreads of cucumbers till they bust out of the seams. And he's snoring on What?
It's so rude. But then he also has Asa and Lily who are, giggling at every joke that he makes, and they're rolling eyes at each other. And it was just, it's difficult. It's difficult.
When did he become the patriarch of the whole thing?
Last season, I think he was really, the breakout star, and everybody kind of loved him. And
now they won't.
So now he's the
not
ringleader?
anymore.
Yeah.
No.
So now he's the ringleader. Well, he did everything he could.
MJ is gonna become the fan favorite now, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, she had some of the cutest moments in these last few episodes when she was talking about her, yes, I said boyfriend. I mean, at one point, Reza just started becoming a caricature of himself. Talking about making fun of the same issues, same gay issues, same player issues, same this, same that, and it became the same thing over and over again, where other people seem to really do different things, like grow in different directions. Everyone even Mike, Gigi, everybody was seemingly growing. Where did Reza go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with MJ, we've seen, like you said, that growth, especially with her and her mother's relationship. And with Reza, we've seen the same thing, but it's hard to feel compassion for him, and it's hard to even be affected by such a positive image when he acts so nasty all the other times. So I think that's the difference in the two.
I
Totally agree.
Completely had the same reaction when last season when he had that reconciliation with his father. I really was moved by that. This season, at this reunion, after he was so nasty to MJ, and then he was crying, talking about his father and his grandma, I just thought, shut up. I don't want to listen to you cry. I don't care. Who cares? You're a jerk.
No wonder they don't love you.
Yeah.
Cold.
But yeah, I just was irritated by his crying.
Especially since it seemed small. I mean, that might have been the editing, but one minute they were yelling at each other, next minute they take a look at a clip, and everybody's eyes are teary. Like, what happened? Every time Anna takes a sip of her water, she's got to look at herself in disgust. She's like, oh, I can't believe I do it. But yeah, I mean, I don't get the teary eyes. Like MJ's tears were justified, I thought. But then all of a sudden, for him to get emotional after basically yelling his head off and calling people out for an entire episode, and then being like, I love him so much. And you're like, dude, what? How can you be that guy and this guy at the same time?
Can't be.
Something's wrong. Something's a lie. One of them's a lie.
Hurt people. So maybe that's what it comes back to.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. And I feel like Reza's growth, if there is any growth to be had as far as his family is concerned, I feel like his growth was the one that was the least involving of himself. And what I mean by that is MJ's growth with her relationship with her mother was born out of MJ really trying to get her mother into therapy and spend time with her mother, really confront her mother. This season, maybe last season, Reza did managed to do a lot of hard confronting with her of his. God, I can't speak. Confronting his father, but this year it just seemed like they hung out. Their relationship was already there. He didn't really have to go through the motions. His grandmother basically just seemed like a completely different person. That relationship seemed to basically heal itself without him. All he really had to do was show up.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see him really work that as hard as he did last season, maybe, to bolster those relationships even more. It seemed like they just kind of stayed there, and if anything, his grandmother and father really kind of came back towards him a little bit more than he went towards them.
And again, MJ was a part of that, and he did acknowledge her, which was nice, but MJ was the one who physically brought him over to the table to talk to his grandmother. You know, he didn't even
good point.
walk up to her.
Wow, I didn't remember that. That's a good point.
Blah.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about Andy Cohen for a moment.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Do we have an Andy Cohen theme song? No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding, Martin.
Does Andy Cohen hate women?
Oh boy, how long have you been saving that?
I don't know. I don't know if he does. But does he?
No, I think he's like overly obsessed
With women?
Yeah, like the whole housewives thing. Like he said in his book, like he was like a little housewife in training, but not really, you know.
But he does allow the bitches and hoes thing to go on a lot. And here's the other thing is that, you know, Andy has spoken out a lot about anti-bullying. He himself has been bullied. I feel like he really let the bullying of MJ go on and on and on and on during this reunion and did nothing to stop it. Did not intervene at all. And, you know, I understand that he's just, I don't know, he's just hosting. Well, he's also the executive producer, the creator of these shows. He also does some editing. But in this moment, you're in this room with these people. You can intervene. You can interject.
Host is responsible for the tone of the show, isn't he?
Yeah,
Or
I think
she?
so. I think so.
It's part of the job of the host to be able to kind of smooth things over when things get either too extreme in one direction or another. He didn't seem to do that at all. I don't understand. Like I said, how does somebody just break out into a foreign language on your television show? I understand that this is a show about Persians. There's probably a lot of Persian people talking. He himself made a huge effort. Like every other greeting on the show was a Farsi greeting. So power to him. But at one point, it's like, whoa, okay, me saying salam to open the show is one thing. You just literally breaking out and having a private conversation with Mike is a totally different thing altogether.
Right.
He could have easily been like, okay, some of us can't speak it, so let's get it back to English. He could have said something, nothing.
Right.
Well, I think that Andy, like I've seen other reunion shows, and obviously he's human. So, he's going to take sides. He's going to probably agree with some people's point of view over others. And in past reunion shows, not necessarily for Shahs because they didn't have one, but like, for instance, some of the Housewives shows, he's gotten criticism after reunions for either being too hard on people or being too easy on people. So I think these days, maybe he's making an effort to be very,
non-present, so to speak.
It's that, objective, and just like keep himself out of it. So maybe that's what he was trying to do because I know he has gotten, fans in the past that have been like, you were too hard on this person or you were too easy on this person or, I guess it's a lose-lose situation because you're never going to make everyone happy, but maybe that's why he seemed a little lax.
That's plausible.
That's fair. Yeah. I also, for a guy who used to be like a serious journalist, he didn't get straight answers out of anybody. Didn't ask any follow-up questions. Just, I don't know, it was very frustrating for me. I was disappointed with Andy this reunion show.
Maybe he was having a rough day.
Yeah, it seemed like a rough day.
But I definitely do agree with you that the questions were not, they seemed like they had the potential to be hard-hitting, but nothing was ever, it seemed like it was just thrown. Nothing direct was asked, and if it was asked, it was the ones it was answered, it was completely glossed over. Like you just moved on to the next thing. Oh wait, hold on, just go back real quick. We can just take a quick second to follow up with that. I totally agree, and I feel like he has done some of that on the few other reunion shows that I've caught, where, you know, like sometimes he'll get, especially like the housewives and whatnot, to kind of, you know, explain themselves or just give like a straight answer or something. And this time it was just kind of like, and then he just turned and started talking to somebody else and asked them a question.
We have a lot to get to today.
Right.
We have a lot to get to.
I'm like, dude, you have 2 episodes worth of time. You could have just maybe thrown out less reminiscent content and just gotten some questions, because that's what a reunion. We already saw the show. We don't need to see more clips.
Right.
You know, concentrate more on getting answers from these people for questions that people are asking or that you want to find out about.
Less everybody screaming at MJ, more questions being answered.
Right. More. Tell us what you have for a job, please, for the love of God.
Yeah. What do you do?
What do you do for money?
How do you make dollars?
When you have to pay for something, where does it come from? Very simple questions.
Everybody tweet Asa tonight, please. Everybody.
That would be awesome if she just got 850 tweets like Asa.
This is our
How
plea.
do you live?
This is our plea from us at AfterBuzz to you, our listeners.
Yes.
Please, everybody tweet Asa and ask what she does.
Or MJ, how do you make a full year salary from one condo?
I don't think that's true, though.
She didn't.
Yeah. I think Asa.
I mean, I guess it's possible. It could have been like, you know, if commission is what, 15%, she sold, I don't know, one condo for
was $1 billion.
Yeah, it was like it was $1 million condo.
She had money saved up from last year, maybe.
Or maybe, yeah. I mean,
Investments, yeah.
I think I think she sold more than one personally. I think that was more lies by Reza, who is maybe proving himself to be a liar. Season 3.
And that's what she said. Stop shoveling lies into the ears of all these people.
Right. For the record, she did have to buy an IKEA desk. She couldn't build it to save her freaking life, but she had to go IKEA. And I'm pretty sure when you walk into that house, you're like, oh, look, extravagant, particle board IKEA office desk. What?
Well, she probably knew she wasn't going to use it for that long. She's like,
Yeah, and by that long, you mean about 20 minutes into like her 3rd glass of wine going, I can't build this thing, forget it. She's literally tossed it. She's like, and walked away. End of scene.
and vacuumed up the parts she would need.
Yeah, she's like, I don't need these nuts and bolts. They're extraneous.
All right. What else? Anything else on this reunion?
No.
No?
I had other little comments, but we've moved past those points. So yeah,
Okay.
it was great.
All right.
Great,
We can go
great
back to
season.
those points.
Great
We have
season.
a
We
minute or two.
we can go back to those
No, I
points.
want to hear
like-
news and gossip.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
You
let's
did
Teased
play
us
that
so
up.
much, yeah.
All right, sorry. All right, yeah, let's get into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Breaking news, Anna.
Okay, so this is all about Asa. And this is from, you know, one of my favorite sources, Tamra Tattles. It says, you're welcome to waste your money on Asa's water, but you should do your research first. There are many studies that show negative effects of drinking alkaline water, including hardening and detrimental effects to the heart muscles, and other studies show that drinking it does nothing. No studies show that it's truly beneficial except by those who sell alkaline water. There's lots of info if you're interested. You can make your own alkaline water as well. It is impossible to infuse diamonds or its properties. I'm sorry, what's wrong with me? It's impossible to infuse diamonds or its properties into water by filtering it with one. This is nothing but a scam. Not her first, since she also was a partner with her ex in an herbal ecstasy business. She may have 2 degrees, but her definition of vulva and phallic, as she stated in the reunion, was not correct either. We talked about that. Nor was Lily's nonsense about looking down. We also talked about that. Just because they say it doesn't mean it's true. And this goes on. Then the other thing.
That was kind of juicy.
Yes. Okay.
yeah,
can we come back to one of my comments on that?
Yeah, please.
I thought it was ironic when she said she was trying to throw shade MJ's way, and she's like, "I'm just trying to make a healthy beverage or something," and she was trying to, and she said something that you wouldn't know anything about.
She said, "MJ, you're clearly not somebody who's in the health industry."
Yes, and I thought that was ironic, just because, I mean, she's not the slimmest, most fit, most active, athletic person out there. So I thought that was a little ironic and hypocritical. So now that her alkaline water, whatever it is, Alka-Seltzer, alkaline, whatever, now that it's coming, now that they're saying it's unhealthy, that's even more of a, like, go punch yourself. Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm done.
Well,
Take that Alka-Seltzer water elsewhere.
Here it says, listen, buy a pretty bottle, take some water, filter it through a Brita, and put a diamond in it. Voila, you will have diamond water.
Yes.
That will be just as effective. Okay, so then here's the other thing. You know, Reza tweeted a picture of himself with Mike and MJ. What do you want to say about that?
No, nothing. I saw it.
Yeah, so it seems like, you know, MJ hasn't retweeted it or anything. She hasn't commented on it at all. But I think that Reza's definitely just trying to make himself look better. I don't know.
Sensationalize himself.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, after this reunion, after he was just so horrible to her, and I wonder if it's even like a current picture. I don't know, but I hope that they're not really friends, and I hope that MJ has not forgiven him, and I hope it's an old picture.
Yeah, but I think that she would forgive him, and I think that that says a lot about her character, and that even makes her look better, that even after someone dogged her out like he did, she would still be able to forgive them. So if she did, obviously I would kind of be like, you know, annoyed, but at the same time, it would make me like her even more.
Well, they have said that they feel like they're brother and sister to a certain extent. I mean, especially since MJ didn't have, or she does. I don't know if she does have a brother or doesn't, but
Only
she's
child.
basically has always thought of Reza as family. So, you know, sometimes with family, except for extreme situations that involve crimes or whatever, I could, you know, obviously a lot of things are at least forgivable in the long term as using the family card. You play the family card. So I could see them eventually making peace somehow, but this wasn't the way to start that process.
Yeah.
Or at least it flip-flops, honestly. And we talked about this too, like at the end of the show, for once, I was like on Gigi's corner when they go, okay, group hug. And Gigi's like, wait, now after all that? For once, I was like, yes, Gigi, well placed. I mean,
Boom.
I don't understand how that we can just like all of a sudden, 1 second we're calling each other drug addicts and hypocritical bastards. And the next minute we're like, la 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 la, and they're jumping up and down in a group hug formation.
they did?
And then they roll the credits. What is real in the Shahs of Sunset anymore?
What's real? And I don't know.
And that's
I don't know. Predictions for next season?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I predict, and wait, do I have to wait till the music goes off? Okay. I predict and hope that they bring in like 1 or 2 new characters that are a little bit more fun. Maybe even characters that we've seen before, like I do not know the woman's name, girl's name, I don't know what to call
Anita?
Anita. I liked her
Anita.
the few times she was on. Anita, maybe Omid, or, you know, just
Yeah.
somebody to spice it up a little bit, because I think the same storylines, you know, those might be coming to their end.
I would also predict that Omid might be someone who appears more than he has in the past, otherwise known as a featured or recurring character. Anna, look at Anna's just hating me. No, I also think I would predict that Lily becomes a party girl all over again and loses herself in alcohol and becomes the very thing she's accused everybody else of being all this last season long.
You would
And
love
she
that.
finally learns to have fun and take a breath instead of being like,
I hope she gets
just
fat.
yeah, seriously, she just drowns herself in alcohol and like in Cinnabons. Next season, Lily blows up literally and figuratively.
No, that'll never happen.
No, come on. Sunjay will take on a
Naturally
whole.
thin. I'm so naturally thin, I have to get my shoes altered.
It's awesome that at the end of the season, all 3 of you have awesome Lily impersonations. It's fantastic.
I predict a spinoff for Gigi, and that's it. About her crazy
Extensions?
family, her extensions, her relationship with Omid. She fights with her sister. Yeah, she doesn't want.
Are there enough players in that show?
We'll bring in more players. She has friends. She's friends with Anita now. Maybe Anita will show up there.
Ah, I like it.
Yeah.
What are they gonna call it? Give it a title.
I can't. I don't know. It's too much pressure. It's too much pressure.
Yeah, it is.
Where can we find you?
You all can find me on Twitter at Yermangur, Yermangur.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Michelle Renee, LA.
And you can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR. Don't forget to vote for your real mayor tomorrow if you are in the LA area.
Nice. Good
Extremely,
twist.
yeah.
I like that.
You know,
It's fantastic.
Really embarrassingly low voter turnout for the mayor. So, you know, come on. Show support. Go vote.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening,
Thanks for
everybody.
listening. See you
Thanks,
next
Anna.
season.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Michelle.
thanks.
I love you guys. Yay.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.